Closing costs. How can you save money on closing costs? Are you a buyer looking to purchase in this market right now? If so, you've heard that it's a seller's market. So 9 times out of 10, sometimes 10 times out of 10, you're going to be responsible not only for your down payment, but for your closing cost as well. So how can you as a buyer save money on your closing costs? Well, stay tuned to this week's episode because you don't want to miss it.
Time to Talk Tuesday, where your local real estate team, the Newton Group, discusses the Midlands area real estate market and common issues, providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners.
I'm back. Once again, my name is Antonio Newton, your local realtor with the Newton Group. And today we're talking about how you as a buyer can save money on your closing costs. But as always, before we dive in, we want to make sure that you hit that bell, like, comment, share, connect with us on our YouTube channel at the Newton Group or on our Facebook page at the Newton Group as well, or any social media platform. So that way you can stay up to date on all the local real estate content that's coming and made just for you. So today we're talking about how you as a potential buyer can save money on closing costs. Well, first, what are closing costs? One, if you haven't checked out our video, we break down what all the closing costs are. But a simple explanation is the term closing costs includes a variety of expenses above the purchase price of your property, such as fees for an attorney, a title search, title insurance, taxes, lender costs, and some upfront housing expenses, such as homeowner insurance, says U.S. News World and Report. So that's what closing costs are. So these are fees on top of whatever the purchase price is that you'd be responsible for. So these fees, just as an estimation, can be 3 to 6% sometimes. If you're buying a $200,000 house, this could be an extra $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. So it's important that you try to save as much money as you can on these fees. So how can you do that? Well, one is you can shop around. So whenever you're getting a loan estimate, you have a certain number of days to have your credit pulled by multiple lenders that won't affect your credit score in a negative fashion. So that way you can compare loan estimates. So it's not always the best idea to go with the low interest rate because sometimes they may be charging you that low interest rate by adding more fees. So you also want to know what your fees are. Interest rate is important, of course, but so is making sure that your fees, your cash to close is important as well. So lenders are required to give you a loan estimate once you officially apply for a mortgage. And this is going to break down the fees that's associated with obtaining that mortgage. It's also going to have a projected interest rate. So if you're shopping around, you want to use that comparison model to compare fees. Now, there's certain fees that you're going to be able to shop for. Anything, homeowners insurance you can shop for. Attorney fees, title search, all those things are things that aren't set in stone and are going to depend on the attorney that you choose. So shopping around for an attorney may be a good idea. Also, there's going to be lender fees that you can't shop around for, but however, you can try to negotiate. Now, just like any negotiation, there's no guarantee that they're going to come off the fee. But hey, all they can say is no, right? So any fees that the lender charge, you can say, hey, is there any way I can get a lender credit or that these fees can be reduced? And then this could also potentially save you money. Another big way to save money on closing costs is when you close. So closing later in the month, part of your closing costs is prepaid interest. So we know interest is paid in arrears. So for example, whenever you make your, let's say, September payment, you're actually paying August interest. So if you close in August, you're going to have some prepaid interest to pay. So the earlier you close in the month, the more interest you're going to have to pay. So for example, let's say we were to close September 11th on a $200,000 house with a 4.5% mortgage rate. That prepaid interest, 20 days of interest, is going to be almost $500. But if we close later in the month, let's say towards the end of the month, and we only got to pay for the September 30th, then that same prepaid interest is only going to be about $25. So we could save hundreds of dollars just by closing later in the month. Now the caveat to that is you're going to have a October or November mortgage payment, but that's where having these options and these choices can you as the buyer in control of making the best decision for you. Now remember, there are some fees associated with certain loans, like your FHA funding fee, which is 1.75%. Your mortgage insurance premium, which is 1.75% for FHA. And then you also have your VA funding fee. That's a part of the VA loan. Those fees are not negotiable. And if you're getting an FHA or a VA loan, it's important that you keep those fees in mind, because that is also going to be a part of your closing costs. And don't forget, you can always ask the seller to help contribute. There is no rule that you as the buyer have to pay for the closing costs. Now, in the current market that we're in, we are seeing that more difficult to get sellers to pay because there's such an inventory shortage. But if we notice in the past couple months that the market is becoming more balanced, especially in certain areas and certain price points. So we are starting to see where sellers are contributing to paying some of the buyer's closing costs. And if you as a buyer are also worried about interest rate, you can take that contribution and also buy down that interest rate as well. So there are a lot of options that you can do to save yourself money as closing costs, as well as to try to potentially save yourself money on your monthly mortgage payment by buying down that interest rate. So I hope you found this video very helpful if you're thinking about purchasing a home. If you're in the beginning stages and you're doing your research, give us a call. We love to talk to you. If you're not going to buy until 2023, now is the time to start having these conversations so we know that come 2023, you're prepared. If you want to buy in 2022, give us a call. Obviously, there's only a few months left in the month. There's only a few months left in the year, but we know things are moving progressively. The market's shifting. So right now, even though interest rates are still a little bit higher than they were earlier in the year, you also have more leverage in certain markets and certain price points because the inventory shortage is balancing out. So we love to be able to connect with you. And if you're a seller and you're thinking about putting your house on the market, we love to connect with you as well on some of our marketing strategies and things you can do to still get top dollar in this ever-changing market. And don't forget, no matter where you are, we can help you. And if we can't help you, then we can certainly connect you with a qualified top real estate agent in that area that you're moving to or in the area that you're moving from. So thank you as always for watching. Reach out to us if you have any questions or if you have a topic that you'd like for us to discuss. And please remember, my name is Antonio Newton with the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker.
This episode of Time to Talk Tuesday was brought to you by the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, where nothing works until they do. Look for episodes every Tuesday where the Newton Group discusses home buyer and seller money-saving tips and ideas, along with the Midlands area real estate market conditions. If you would like to reach out to them, they can be reached online and on land at area code 803-608-2597. So until next time, here's wishing you all fair winds, following seas, and gentle tides.